Let's welcome Matt Cooper to the stage.
What you've heard is true. I am a mentalist. How many of you know what that even is? Raise of hands. Literally no one. Okay. Anyone heard of the show before, the TV show, The Mentalist? Maybe we've seen that, but maybe we haven't seen a performer before. Well, for those of you who don't know, I understand people. I understand how you think, which informs what you think and why you think it. And it's because of this I've developed an ability to look you in the eye and reveal your innermost private thoughts. You seem scared. Well, there's no need to be. I'm not here to frighten you. I'm here to speak to you and to speak to this idea that the mind is capable of so much more than you first thought possible. But first, you should know something about me. I grew up in Las Vegas, and my grandmother, she was a cocktail waitress at the Golden Nugget, and she was very good at reading people and predicting things like what you did for a living, purely based off of intuition. That's what she called it, intuition. I think it was something more natural than that. I think it was something that we all share. I think she was literally reading people, perhaps unconsciously, the way that we walk, how we talk, how we dress. All of these things, they tell a story about who we are. They are outward projections of what's happening on the inside. So, to illustrate this, we're going to warm up with a game. If you have cash on you right now, but you're not exactly sure how much you have, please raise your hand. I'm not going to bring you up here. I'm not going to take your money. I just want to know who this applies to. I want to go for someone near the back. Gentleman in this sort of the checkered gray blazer. Could you please stand up and state your name in a nice, clear voice? Max Miller. Nice to meet you, Max Miller. And my name is Matt Cooper. Max, you have cash on you, correct? But you don't know the exact amount. True? Then it's not going to work with you. Put your hands back up. Gentleman right here. Is that Keller? Yes. Oh, we met earlier. I don't want to do that with you. Hands back up, hands back up. I'll go with this gentleman right here. Yes, you. Could you please stand up? Yes. Begrudgingly. Your name is?
Chris Clark.
Chris. Okay. You know that you have money, but you don't know the exact amount.
That is correct.
Okay, great. I'd like to see if I can predict how much you have, even though you don't know yourself. All right? Now look, I'm not going to get this exactly right. It's just a warm-up, Chris. But I'll get somewhere within $5, and we will consider that a success. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. In fact, let's all do this. Everyone turn and look at Chris. I want you, in the nicest way possible, to judge Chris. All right? Take a look at the way he's standing, where he puts his hands right into his pockets, right? Self-soothing, behind the hands, behind the back. Folding arms, keeps changing on us. Also bear in mind that Chris raised his hand in front of a mentalist. That shows courage, right? He has a kind of quiet confidence about him, not a big ego. Doesn't really even want to be in the limelight. You were kind of resistant to it at first.
It's fair.
We can also ask a few questions. Chris, how do you keep your money? Is it in a wallet? Is it a money clip loose in your pocket? How do you keep it?
Don't you already know that?
I'm asking you the questions, Chris.
In a wallet.
In a wallet, okay. And do you keep them in sequential order or just sort of random?
Sometimes sequential.
Okay, a little bit anal. You drew first blood. Okay. Do you take coffee? Do you drink coffee?
Yes.
How do you take it?
Sugar and cream usually.
Okay. And last question, it doesn't have to be your favorite, but name one of your favorite bands.
Queen.
I think I know how much money you have. The issue is you don't know yourself. So in a minute, not yet, you're going to turn around or go in the corner or leave the room if you want, but quickly and discreetly count how much you have. When you're done, come back in. While you're doing that, I'll write down my prediction. I'll try to finish before you finish counting. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, go for it. I want everyone else here to take a mental guess as to how much you think he has. I'll go with that. Okay, good. Anyone have a guess? Anyone feel confident? 43, yes? What do you think? 63, interesting. Yes? 55. Keller? 120. Okay, we're getting up higher now. Are you done already?
I'm done.
Oh, shit. Okay. Honestly, I expected you to take a little bit longer than that. But I will stick with this. I'm not going to change. All I ask is that you please be honest. Don't just make up a random number. I'm not going to come count it with you. How much money is in your wallet right now?
73.
Shit. No, it's actually almost too good to be true. Could you help me? Would you mind? Yes, you in the pink. Yes, could you take this? Come up on stage. I'm going to give this to you. You take this, take this, take this. Yes, come up on stage as quickly as you can. Let's give her a round of applause for taking part. Actually. Hello. I'm going to give you this right here. This is good. Yes, come a little bit closer. Don't be shy. Okay. All right. So hold on to that. Don't open it yet. I just want to clarify a couple things. You counted all of the money. You didn't leave anything in any other pockets, nothing like that?
That's correct.
Okay. And I said I would be close, within like $10, somewhere in there. Okay, geez. $5 to $10. Okay, $5. And you said you had about $75.
73.
I was adjusting for inflation. Okay, fine. 73. 73. Would you slowly unfold that piece of paper and read out what I have written on the inside, exactly what I have written?
Chris will have exactly $73.
Exactly, $73. Give that to Chris as a souvenir. Thank you so much. Have a nice, thank you so much. All right. Woo! I almost never nail it like that. That's great. It just means the rest of the show is downhill from here. So, by the way, I'll be playing poker later on if anybody wants to join me. Just saying. Truth is, what I do as a mentalist, the tools and techniques that I use, they reach far beyond the boundaries of the poker table. They reach far beyond the boundaries of the stage, really, but I rarely get to talk about these ideas in an open way. Typically what ends up happening is I'll do a show for like a major corporation somewhere in the world, and the same thing always happens. I'm packing up my bag at the bottom of the stage, and a bunch of people kind of crowd around me, and they have the same few questions they always ask. They ask, how did you get into this? What tools, books can I consume to be like you? Or my favorite, what are the lottery numbers? It was hilarious. And the truth is, I don't have the time or the energy to unpack those ideas at that point. I just did a full-length show. So I make up some BS and I get the hell out of there. That's the truth. But today is different. Today I have the time and the energy to unpack these ideas in a way that I think will be beneficial to you, in a way that will be digestible and useful. We're not going to get into the weeds on this stuff. I'm not going to get into the expert level, but we're going to give you a foundational starting point so that I can set you on the right path should you choose to explore this stuff further. All right, but I do want to set some expectations. You ain't going to walk out of here a mentalist. You're not going to walk through the casino guessing how much money's in everyone's pocket. And you're not going to leave here with any powers or abilities you didn't walk in here with. However, you did walk in here with powers and abilities. My goal is to help you recognize what those are and to turn them on. All right? In order to understand where we're going, it'll help to know where I come from. I mentioned Vegas. That part's true. What I didn't mention is that my mom, she was actually a showgirl in the Folies Bergère, Jubilee, classic Vegas showgirl. My dad was a stagehand. That's how they met. So I come from a showbiz family. What I didn't tell you is that by the time I was 8 years old, I'd seen many of the world's greatest magicians. Vegas is full of magic acts, so I became obsessed with magic. And all the way up until I'm 13, that's what I practiced. But I started to grow out of it. I got interested in sports and other things. At the same time, my grandfather passes away. Now, my grandfather was also a magician, like an amateur magician, so I inherited all of his books. And he had a small section labeled mentalism. There was no TV show at this point. I had never seen a mentalist before. So I'm curious. I'm going through, reading the descriptions, and they include deception and trickery and showmanship, but it also included things like suggestion and observation and hypnosis, things that I now consider to be real magic because there's a human element baked into it, right? It's one thing to control a pack of playing cards. It's an entirely different game to do that with a human being. So that's what I want to share with you today. I've distilled 20 years of experience doing this into two primary categories: suggestion and observation. How to see and how to influence. Let's start with suggestion. Put your feet firmly on the floor. Take a deep breath in. Let it out, or you'll suffocate. Good. I'm going to write something down. I don't want you to see what that is. It's sort of a secret, but we'll get back to this in a second. Some of you are sneaky. You're going to try to peek anyway, so I'm going to go behind here so you can't see what this is. Okay, I'll leave that there. Hopefully it'll stay. Yes, good. But you can see this. A, B, C, D. 4 letters, 1, 2, 3, and 4. In about 3 seconds, I'm going to click my fingers. When I do, I want you to see if you can use your intuition and choose one of those letters. All right? And if you're stuck in the middle between two, choose the one that feels right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Think of one now. Stick with it. Don't change. Good. Out of curiosity, how many of you are thinking of the letter A? Just raise your hands. 2, 3 people. Okay. The letter B. A few more. Letter C. That's, I think, the majority. Letter D. A few less than that. Okay. Put your hand up if you thought of the letter C again. And keep your hands up. Put your hand up also if you thought of the letter C and then changed your mind last minute to something else. Keep your hands up. Okay. So that is what I was suggesting to you, the letter C. Does anyone know what I said or did that pushed you in that direction? Anyone have a theory? Yes? To 3 seconds. Yes, that's one of the things. That's one of the things. Anyone else have any other theories? Okay. Yes? Stick to the right. If you're stuck in between two, choose the one that feels right. Very good. Anyone else? Didn't want anyone to see it. That's a double entendre. Yes? All these things are flying under the radar for most of you, right? Some of us can pick up on these things because we are pattern-seeking animals. But for the most part, this stuff flies under the radar. I say, I don't want you to see this. It's a secret. But you can see this. A, B, C, and D. There's 4 of them. I want you to, in 3 seconds, I want you to choose one that feels right. Choose one. See if you can use your intuition. And you gesture and you make a C. All these things are flying under the radar that push you in the direction that I want you to go in. That's the idea. All right, so how can we use this? How can we use this in everyday life? Because you're not going to use this sort of thing with your clients or anything. Well, I always suggest to people or recommend that you start with self-suggestion. Edita kind of spoke to this a little bit earlier on, which I really agreed with. And there's some things that you can do to yourself that will prepare you to be a better communicator and to build faster rapport with people. So some of these things are super simple, things you already know, like body posture. Right? If you walk around all day with your shoulders collapsed in and your head down, of course you're going to feel crappy. But if you stand up straighter, head up, you feel better. You're speaking to your unconscious. You do the same thing when you use suggestion on other people. You're just speaking to their unconscious. Another way in which I use this is an affirmation. Believe it or not, I'm a very nervous performer. Anytime I do a show, I get very nervous. So I find an opportunity to come over in the wings, look out at the crowd, and I say, oh, thank God. It's a good group. I like them. And they like me. Oh, we're going to have a great time. I know that sounds silly, but it goes to work on my unconscious, and it calms me down. Some other things I do. When I hit center stage, I'm always on my toes, not on the heels. Small thing makes a big difference over time. On the toes tells me and tells you, I'm here. I'm present. I want to get to you. I want to share something with you. On my heels is, I'm afraid. I want to create distance. I want to get away. Right? It's like these simple things will give you an edge over time. They're not miracles in the moment, but over time, just like at the poker table, you will have an edge where you will win out. But you have to be conscious of these things. We can get a little bit trickier, though, too. We can get a little bit more advanced. We could use double entendres like the letter C, right? There's something I used to do. I'm a little bit embarrassed to even mention this, but it's something I used to do when talking to a potential client, and I've established rapport. I would say a double entendre as a sentence. I would say something like, I know that you, like me, want everyone to have the best experience possible. I know that you, like me, people want to work with people they like. So I want to get that message in under the radar. You, like me, want to have everyone has a good experience. You could also use it as an overt communication. You could use altar casting. Anyone ever heard of that phrase, altar casting, before? Altar casting is really, really powerful. It's probably the closest thing to a Jedi mind trick that I know. And it's casting someone in a role that you want them to fulfill. So I use this in my life. In the last few years, I've used it in conversation with people where it's a touchy conversation. and I don't want things going off the rails. So I want to create a conversational partner that's going to be reasonable. So I'll say something to the right person at the right time. You seem like the sort of person who's willing to change their mind based off of new information, which I appreciate. So here's what I think. Now, I've given them a flattering statement that they have to live up to. If they don't at least try to change their mind, or at least consider the idea, then they're negating what I just said. In fact, I use this today, and some of you might be upset about this. I want to share with you a story that I used today to get a free extended stay. I'll explain this. Not overnight. I meant just like a late checkout. I'll explain how to do this. But we'll come back to that. The way that I started learning suggestion is something that you can try on your friends, and that is by claiming that I could read someone's mind. I did this in high school. I would say to people, I can read your mind, and I want you to quickly think of a number from 1 to 10 now. Just think of a number from 1 to 10. Most people will think of 7. Because you gesture 7. If they don't, if they think for a second and then wait and they go, okay, I got one, and they do this, they're probably thinking of 3. You can follow the patterns that people take. But that's not mind reading, that's suggestion. So how do you know what someone's actually thinking? Well, that's where this comes into play. Yes. It's a little die, a single die, a number from 1 to 6. I know it seems small, but it leads to a very big idea. Maybe. Possibly. Definitely not you. No, I'm only kidding. I actually heard your name is Barb. Is that right, Barb? Barb, would you join me up on stage to a thunderous round of applause? Quickly as you can, Barb, quickly as you can. So what's going to happen here is Barb is going to choose a random number using this die. The reason we're using the die is because nobody, no human being can create randomness. Thank you very much. Thank you for doing this. Pleasure meeting you. I'm going to put this right in front of you, right here. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 things. One is a cup. Just hold it like a coffee cup, normal. And the other one is this die. Put your hand on top for now, okay? The reason we're using this is because human beings are incapable of creating randomness. If you ask them to name a series of numbers, they always find a pattern. That's what this die is for. It prevents you from following a pattern. So what I want you to do is first shake the die, peek at the number, all right, and do it again. Make sure it's changing each time. It's not the same side every time, okay? Do it one more time, except this time, just peek at the number. Don't say it out loud, but peek at it. Are you happy with this number? If you're not happy, you can change your mind. You're happy with this? You sure? Okay, so get close to the microphone. In a moment, Barb, you're going to count from 1 to 6 out loud. Be careful not to give away the number that you just looked at. Okay, not yet, because here's the thing, Barb. You will give it away. The more you try not to give it away, the more that you will. The more you try to conceal, the more you will reveal. You're going to fail, Barb. I'm sorry. You're going to fail. But I want you to do your best. Okay? So into the microphone from 1 to 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Easy. $100 on it. It's number 2. Yes? Into the mic?
Yes, it was 2.
Yes, it was 2. Okay. Did anyone see what she did? Paused? When? Okay. Maybe she did, but that's not what I'm looking for. Anyone else have any theories? When? Okay. So it's, yes, there's a lot going on there's a lot of information that we're taking in, right? So it's hard to discriminate between what's important and what's not. The key here to remember, we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. So you're going to prepare yourself. By the way, I will say actually I won't say this yet because I don't want to give it away. What we're looking for is tension and relaxation. All right. So she knows that 2 is the tense number, right? Like you have fear around the number 2. You think, I don't want to give it away. I can't give it away. Partly because I suggested that to you. I told you to your face, you're going to fail. Right? I don't want you to fail, but I wanted you to believe that so that you give this away. Right? That's where the suggestion comes in. So all this tension. And then once you get past 2, you feel like you're free. You feel like you're home free. You're out of the gates. So then you relax. And it's on 3 that the shoulders drop, the voice drops, things subtly drop. Her eyes probably dilated. I'm too far away to see, but they probably did. right? So now that you know this, so you think. Put your hand on top, shake it again. If it's 2 again, you can keep it or change it. It's up to you. Are you happy with this number, yes or no?
No.
Okay, do it again. Peek at the number. If you're not happy, you can do it you can change one more time. You can change again if you want
I'm
to.
happy with it.
I'm going to give you special treatment. Are you sure?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. If this was about observation, you wouldn't need to speak it, right? You wouldn't need to speak it. You could just observe it. So this time I want you to count in your head, not out loud.
Okay.
Wait until I say go. Go. Stop at the end. That's a 6, yes? Into the mic?
Yes.
Yes, it was a 6. It was a 6.
The funny part is I shook it 3 times and it came out to 6 each time.
Okay, do it one more time then. I know you're going to be funny with me. Do it one more time. Do it one more time. So skeptical, Barb. Peek at the number. If it's a 6 again, roll it again.
I'm good.
You sure? Okay. Not into the mic. In your head, count from 1 to 6. Wait till I say go.
Oh.
Face forward. Go. Stop right there. It's a 1. Yes? Obviously, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now look, no, stay here. We're going to do this a little bit more difficult. You might be thinking, okay, but can you do this over the phone? Maybe you guys talk to clients over the phone. You can't see them. How can you do this? I want to make you do a little bit of math. I'm sorry. It's super simple. It's just 2 more dice. You can add up, right? It's 3 to 18. Put your hands on top. Shake them all up. I want you to add up the total. Add up the total, okay? Don't let me see. Just add up the total. I'll let you do that. Have you added up the total?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep your hand on top. I am not going to look at you from this point on. All I want you to do is count out loud into the microphone from 3 to 18. All right? Into the microphone. Go for it.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
18.
18.
You forgot 18. That's actually making me second guess this a little bit. Can you guys see what I have here? Yeah? Can you say 10, 11, 12, 13? Into the mic?
Me. Oh, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Yeah. Okay. Into the mic. What number are you thinking of? Into the mic.
Oh, it should be the number I have?
Yeah.
Oh, 11.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Sorry. We're going to do it one more time. Can I see? I thought it was 12.
Oh, I was wrong.
That's amazing. This is so important. Barb. You did say you were bad at math. That is true. But this speaks to something so interesting, right? Because unconsciously her mind's going, no, it's 12, you dummy. No. It's a lot of stress being up here. You're actually so great. I want you to help me with one more thing, but you're going to go back to your seat. We're going to save this for later on. No, stay here. You're so great at this. You're a lot of fun, Barb. I want you, we may not get to this, okay? But I want you to think of I'll take that. I want you to think of a number from, let's do 20 to 99. All right, 20 to 99, but not 20 and not 99. Any number you wish, maybe change your mind a few times, maybe a number that means something to you. It can be totally random, that's up to you. Have you got a number in mind? Okay, I want you to write it down so you commit yourself and you don't forget it later on. So I'll give that to you. Take the pen, write it nice and big and clear. Don't let me see. Write it nice and big and clear so that we can show it later on. And then when you're done writing it, fold it up into little quarters or whatever and put it in your pocket. Okay? Don't want to see. Is it out of the way? Okay, put it in your pocket, in your purse, whatever. I'll take that. Thank you very much, Barb. Thank you so much. You can head back to your seat. Let's give a round of applause for Barb. Okay. So what can we say about this? Actually, there's 2 things we can talk about. Is the how and the why. How do you become more observant? How do you practice that? And why should you bother? Well, the how is simple. You already are extremely observant. Most people consider themselves to be good judges of character. Most people get a good or a bad vibe about someone from time to time, right? That is your unconscious mind nudging your conscious mind saying, hey, this is what we think of this person. Our problem is we don't trust that instinct. We intellectualize ourselves out of it. We second guess ourselves, right? We have to think quickly when it comes to the unconscious mind because it's trying to tell us something that has been baked into us for centuries. In fact, language came much later. Our ability to observe, our ability to see came much earlier. If you have pets, dogs, cats especially, they know when you're upset. They know when you're anxious or happy. You do too. The question is, how do we get that from an unconscious process to a conscious process? And that's simple. You just have to practice, right? So if next time you are in a cafe, just notice the way that people walk. Notice the way they speak, how they dress, where their feet are pointed, if their hands are in their pockets. You don't even have to know what that means right now. That's not important. What's important is you build the skill for noticing this kind of thing as extra information. Better still, do it in conversation. When you're having a conversation with someone, notice what they're doing. At first, it'll feel like you're watching a foreign film where you have to kind of read the subtitles and then look at the screen, back and forth. But over time, you will start to learn the language, and you can step back and you can see a bigger picture. And then you can start to get into what the microsignals mean and the eye pattern movements mean, but you don't even need to know that in order to capitalize on what observation can give you. And what observation can give you is an ability to establish rapport with people quickly, rapid rapport. There's lots of ways to build rapport, but a rapid rapport would come from the world of hypnotherapy. Now, it was later adopted by neurolinguistic programming, if anyone's familiar with that area, NLP. This idea is known as mirroring. This is what I use today, and I'll explain this later on. But mirroring is super simple. You mirror what you observe. So if someone's doing this, perfectly reasonable to do the same thing. You should. Generally speaking, you should be an open person, right? If you want to attract that kind of energy in the world, you want to attract those people, be open, be bright. But if you're trying to get on the same page with someone who's doing this, do the same thing. As a matter of fact, next time you're at a restaurant, try this. Scan the room and notice who's getting along. Notice who is having a good time. You'll notice that they're mirroring each other. It happens naturally. They drink at the same rate. They even blink at the same rate. The volume of their speech is the same. The speed of their speech is the same. It happens naturally. So what we're doing is we're short-circuiting that. We're getting out ahead of it. We're mirroring someone so that we can establish that rapport. Now, why do you want to establish that rapport? Because your suggestions become so much more potent as a result. Simple example. Very simple example. If you go to try on some clothes with a friend, and your friend says, hey, that jacket looks really good on you, you're likely to trust that your friend's being honest at least. You might not agree, but you at least trust that he's being honest. But if the salesperson comes over and says, that jacket looks really good on you, without having said anything to you beforehand, you're going to think, yeah, of course you're going to say that. You're trying to sell to me. But if the salesperson just took a few minutes to say hello, match your body language, make it feel like you are like them, that you guys are on the same wavelength, and then that salesperson says, that jacket looks really good on you, you're far more likely to buy it at this point because now you've established rapport and the suggestion, the overt suggestion, is actually doing something. Right? You leave a lot of money on the table by not just taking a few seconds to develop something with somebody. The whole thing I said earlier about you like me works much better if you establish that rapport. Oh, the thing I did today. So, see if I can remember exactly how this went down. I needed a late checkout. I probably shouldn't even be telling you this, but I needed a late checkout. And so I'm waiting in line to get to the front desk, and I'm trying to morph myself into this person's posture. Right? She's sort of like this. And I'm walking up and smiling, and she's kind of smiling back. And I acknowledge and compliment her glasses that she was wearing. So we kind of take like 10 seconds to just kind of build a little tiny mini relationship. And then I say, I'm giving a speech later on. I wondered if it was possible to get a late checkout. And I'm nodding my head because I want her to comply, right? I wonder if it's possible to get a late checkout. And she goes, sure, that'll be $25. And I think, shit. But quickly I go, oh, totally understand. I've had such a great experience at this hotel. I wondered if you could make an exception. And she kind of hemmed and hawed a little bit. And I said, no pressure at all. I just figured that you could make an exception. And she goes, okay, I'll make an exception, but only for you. And I got it. So there's a lot of things that are happening there, right? There's a lot of things that are happening there. One, I'm establishing that rapport. Two, I'm giving her the positive reinforcement. And three, and this is something that doesn't touch observation or suggestion, but it's worth its weight in gold, and that is give a reason for why you're asking for something. It doesn't even matter what the reason is. There was this study I read years ago about people waiting in line at a copy machine. And someone would come up, an actor, they didn't know this person was an actor, would come up and would say, do you mind if I cut in line? Almost everyone said, no, of course not. But if the person said, hey, I'm really late for a meeting, do you mind if I cut in line? The compliance went through the roof. That's not surprising, right? We're nice people. What's surprising is the reason they asked to cut in line didn't matter. You could say, hey, I bumped my knee this morning. Could I cut in line? And yeah, sure, fine, that's fine. Hey, it's a beautiful day today. Do you mind if I cut in line? The compliance still went up. So you just have to give a reason, and then people are more likely to comply. But that's a story for another day. There's one thing I have left off the table, and that is part of my whole business is subverting expectations. That's what show business is about, is trying to figure out what people expect from you and then going above and beyond that. So I'd like to leave you with something that is actually quite insane and will only work with a few of you who will be decided by fate. All right? So, right now I'd like everyone to think of someone in their life that they haven't thought about in a very long time. I want you to travel back in time all the way to school, somewhere K through 12 ideally, and think of a person that is not on your social media, it's not on LinkedIn, someone you haven't communicated with, someone you haven't even thought about in a long time. Think of that person now. I'm going to throw this ball out in the audience. The first person who catches it will be the first person who catches it will not be selected. The second person who catches it will. All right? So I'm going to throw this. Don't swat it away. I promise you I'll be nice. All right? I'm going to go over here first. Whoever catches that. Okay? And then you can hand it to someone or you can throw it, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Whoever was closest, don't be afraid. Please don't be afraid. Yes, excellent. Could you please stand up? Please stand up. Okay, wonderful. What are we dealing with here? Okay. Your name is? Cassie. Okay, do you have someone in mind? You haven't thought about this person in forever, yes? Okay, and there's no way that I can know this person? Okay, so I want you to come over here. Quickly, Cassie, quickly. I don't want anyone seeing what you're doing or writing, but you're going to write down this person's name, all right? And put yourself in this position. Stand right over here. So write down your friend's name, and when you're done filling this out, fold it up into quarters. I'll give you this pencil. Take your time, okay? Where's the ball? Yes. Where's the ball? You have the ball? Thank you very much. Would you throw this to someone? Anyone you wish. Okay, that came right over to you. That was you. That was you. Stand up. Okay, I want you to think of anything about yourself that I couldn't possibly guess. Anything about yourself that I couldn't possibly guess. This could be the street you grew up on. Could be an old friend's name. It could be a song that you like, a place you want to travel to. Past, present, future, doesn't matter to me as long as there's some connection to you. All right? Equally, I don't want this to be something I could have researched online or asked anyone here what Lisa might pick. Okay. You got something? Okay. Come over here. Same thing. I want you to write down this fact about yourself, and when you're done filling that out, fold it up into quarters, okay? I'll get you a pencil. Here you go as quickly as you can. Finally, where'd the ball go? It ricocheted under the table? On the table. I'm a mentalist. You think I'll be able to find the ball. Okay, all right. I'm going to go over here this time. Could I get you to throw the ball to somebody? Anyone you wish. Yes. Excellent. Perfect. I actually wanted you. Could you please stand up? Now, I'm going to give you a second here. I want you to think of something that you can draw, but you're not going to do it quite yet. Because whatever you think, I want you to switch and change. And I want you to change it a few times so that you know this drawing is totally random. The drawing should be recognizable, like we should know what it is you're trying to draw. So keep it simple, okay? By the way, could you just name a color for me, a basic color? Blue. Blue? You sure? That's the first one that popped into your head?
No, it wasn't the first, but
But
that's
you,
the one I said.
but that's the one you said.
Yeah.
Would you open up that piece of paper? A little bit quicker would be great.
Okay, now.
I know, it's frustrating.
this up
It's
really
super
good.
tight. What does it say?
Blue.
Blue, it does say blue. You're going to be perfect for this. Okay, keep thinking of a drawing, all right? Keep thinking of a drawing. I'm going to come back to you. Are we done over here? Yes? Okay, great. And did you fold it up? And you can't see through it or anything like that? It's all sealed? Okay, great. Put it inside the envelope. Put it inside. Great, we'll seal that in there. You keep this, hold on to this. Stay right there, don't move, okay? Are you done over here? All right, I don't want to get anywhere near it. Seal it inside the envelope. Seal it inside. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. And then, I didn't catch your name, actually. Courtney, come over here, Courtney. I want you to draw this thing. I want you to draw this thing. So, have you got something in mind?
Yes.
Okay, stay right there. I want you to draw this thing, and then when you're done, I want you to fold it up and seal it inside the envelope, okay? I'll leave that with you there. Here's a pencil. The piece of paper is inside the envelope, okay? Now, over here, I want you to collect all the envelopes. Yep, collect them. So you have one. You're going to collect this one over here. And then I need a judge. Who amongst you is the most responsible? None of you are responsible. Liz? Where's Liz? Liz, you're responsible? Yes? Would you join me on stage? Let's give Liz a big round of applause. You're going to collect hers as well, okay? Thank you so much. Have a seat right here, okay, Liz? I got this ready for you. All right. Did we collect all the envelopes? Oh, actually, here, I'll take them for a second. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You can all head back to your seat, okay? Thank you so much. I'll give these to you. You're going to hold on to these, okay? They're numbered for you, 1, 2, and 3. You can have a seat right there if you don't mind. Okay, great. So the first person who took part, where did that person go? Stay standing, all right? Stay standing. Focus on who this person is, all right? Try to see them. Actually, I hate to make you keep going back and forth. It's a big stage. Could you actually join me up here? I need to get a little bit closer look at you in order to do this. I want you to, as you come up, focus on who this person is. See them clearly in your head. Picture them as if you were back at this age that you were at. Come right here. Stand right here. I'm going to get you a microphone, okay? I have no idea if this is going to work. So it is extremely important that you just follow my instructions, okay? A little bit closer to the microphone. I want you to try to imagine what the classroom looked like. All right, just try to imagine. Can you picture it in some sense?
Yes.
Yes? I'll get you a little bit closer to that so that people can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, yes. All right, and you can see other classmates too? Yes, you can kind of visualize them a little bit?
Yes.
All right. Focus on just the name of this person for now. Focus on the first letter of this name. Okay, don't do that. Instead, face forward. Are you a Capricorn?
Yes.
Yes? Capricorns are like a December, January. You're somewhere near the January like 18th or something like that, January 17th or 18th.
Close.
What's your birthday into the
The
mic?
19th.
January 19th?
Yes.
Okay, that's close. I'm getting a name I'm picking up on. I'm just going to go for it. I'm not sure what it is. It sounds like it's the last name, though. Pagano?
Which one are we answering?
Does Pagano make sense to you?
Yes.
Who is Pagano?
My favorite teacher.
Oh, it's your teeth. Okay, all right. So sometimes that happens. Sometimes we get crossover, right? We get like connective tissue. But focus on the name of the friend, though, for me. Focus on the name of the friend. Are you thinking of the first and the last name?
Yes.
Okay, focus on just the first name for me. Good. Now think of a letter somewhere in that name, in the middle of the name somewhere. Oh, you've jumped between two, right? You went from an S to an I, then back to the S.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with this. I'm not sure about the last name, but I'm going to do my best. Do not look at this. Do not look at this. Okay, hold on to it.
Okay.
When is the last time you spoke to this person?
Maybe second grade.
Second grade. Okay, so it's been a long time. When's the last time you thought of this person?
Maybe a year or two ago.
Okay. Could I have envelope number 1, please? Thank you very much. You're doing great. You could have thought of anybody, and the person you thought of went by the name of Elisa Cohen.
Yes.
Have a peek at what I wrote. Show it around. Let's give her a big round of applause for taking part. Elisa Cohen. Thank you so much. You can have a seat. Thank you so much. Keep it going for her as she heads off the stage. Who was the person that thought of the fact? The fact. Could you come up here as quickly as you can? And let's keep it going for her as she makes it up here. It's hard to come up in stony silence. I know the pain. All right, so now you could be thinking of anything. Thank you so much for helping. You're just keeping guard of those envelopes. Make sure no one is tampering with them. Right here, okay? All right. I want you to focus on what this fact is about yourself, all right? What this fact is. Now, this is much more difficult than a name, right? Because I know that it's a name of some kind, but now we're dealing with the infinite. So it is that much more important that you focus on what, if you can kind of bring it down to like one word, that would be great, all right? If you can focus on a single image, even better. All right? Try to put yourself, if it's an object you're thinking of, try to imagine the object. If it's a memory, put yourself in the memory. Okay? And I just want yes and no's out of you. You're thinking of like a memory. Is that true? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. And this is a memory. It's not from the recent past, but the distant past. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. And I'm talking more than 10 years. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. This is from not quite second grade, but I want to say somewhere through K through 12, yes?
Yes.
Yes. High school.
Yes.
Yes. You have a memory from high school that's really kind of, it's not like a specific memory necessarily, but more of a generic one that you have many memories about.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Imagine going through this thing. Imagine interacting with this thing, whatever the thing is. You're around other people. Isn't that true?
True.
Yes. And you're outside.
Yes.
Yes. Although you sometimes practice inside, but you're mostly outside, yes? It's something that you practice, but it's not necessarily a sport, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Does anyone here know what this is?
I don't think so.
Okay, great. Are you an Aries?
Yes.
Yes.
True and true.
March 31st?
Yes.
I won't tell them any of the bad stuff, don't worry.
That's okay. I don't care.
I think, do you have envelope number 2? Okay, thank you. I think, and if I'm wrong, give me one more guess.
Okay.
Were you on the drill team in high school?
Yes.
Is that the actual thought you had?
Yes.
Thank you so much. You can head back to your seat. Let's give her a round of applause for taking part. Drill team. Wow, amazing. Okay, and the drawing, our drawing artist, our expert. Yes, could you come up here as quickly as you can, and let's hear it for her as she comes up. It ain't easy. That clock changed. Okay. Your job is by far the most difficult. And I can't move this because we taped it down earlier, so I do apologize. Come on, way over here, way over here, way over here. I'm now realizing, because this is brand new to me, I'm trying this out for you guys for the first time, I'm realizing that I can't show everyone what you drew. So stand right here, face your audience, and smile. You're in show business. Okay, all right. I'm going to give you this. Actually, not yet, not yet. What I want you to imagine is that you are drawing this thing again, because it's too small for everybody to see. All right, so imagine you're drawing this thing again. All right, but imagine that you are drawing it on a chalkboard this time. And that in your hand you have a piece of chalk. Don't mime it or anything like that. Don't even use your eyes to follow it. but I want you to imagine, maybe even close your eyes, imagine that you're drawing this thing on a chalkboard. All right? And you can feel, face forward as you do this, and you can feel the cold chalk in your fingertips. And as you draw this thing, the dust is coming off the chalkboard, and it's kind of hitting you in the face a little bit. And you can finish drawing this thing, and then you draw it again. You trace over it again and again. Put your hands by your sides like this. Yes? Keep drawing it. Keep going, keep going. Okay, step back a little bit. Step back. I don't want you to see what I'm drawing, but keep focusing. I'll show you the shapes that I'm getting. All right, keep focusing. I'm getting this shape first, and this shape, and maybe something like this. I think I know where that's going, right? It's something like this. Something like that. But I think it'll be more artistic. I think... If I saw this image first, I would think one thing, but I actually think we're dealing with something like this. Do we all know what that is? Yes? It won't be exact, but this is just the sort of the sense that I'm getting with this. Okay, you're going to have to draw it again, okay? So I'm going to put this away so you can't see it. Come over here, take the pen, and as they say in art school, use the space, and we'll see how close I was. Feel free to use the whole space. Let them see what you're drawing as you draw it. It's fine. Wait for that one detail. Yes.
How did you know that?
Right. Thank you so much. You can head back to your seat. Thank you so much. Let's give her a round of applause for taking part. And thank you for helping us out. I really appreciate it. Let's keep it going for our 2 volunteers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh. Almost forgot. The number. Oh, I should have left this. Okay. Did you remember the number? Okay. Do you need to check it again? I know you're a little shifty with numbers. Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this. Stay there. You can stay there. Just stand up for me. Stand up for me. Okay. Let's do this. What I need you to do is just say the number to yourself in your head, not out loud, Barb, not out loud, in your head, over and over again like a broken record, and shout it at me in your head, not out loud. And as you do that, I'm going to write down all the things that make sense to me, okay? So just keep doing this in your head over and over again. Good. Good. Slow down, a little bit slower, but clearly, as if you're, yes. That's 5, 2, 1, 12, 7, 11, 8, 5, 1, 2, 5, 10, 3, 5, 4, 4, 5, 3, 6, and a 9. These are the numbers that I'm getting. These are the numbers that I'm getting. Yes. And as I look at this, I say to myself, what feels right? What feels right? Well, the 2 stands out to me. No, actually, no, I'm sorry. It's the 5 and the 6 that stand out to me. Sometimes the 2s are backwards in my head. 5 and the 6 stand out to me. So I'm going to say statistically, 56 is way more common, and that is your number. Yes or no? Have a seat. 56? Yes or no? 65. 65. No? God damn it, Barb. What was the number? 72. Look at this. 1 and 12 is 13. Plus 7 is 20. And 52 is 72. It's interesting. 11 and 8 is 19. 2 is 21. 51 is 72. 5 and 10 is 15. 3 is 18. 54 is 72. And 6 and 4 is 10. Plus 9 is 19. And 53 is 72. But if we go vertically too, 5 and 4 is 9, 11 is 20, 52 is 72. So is that, so is that, so is that. This diagonal and that diagonal. These 4, those 4, the middle 4, and the outside 4 corners. 7 and 9 is 16, 4 is 20, and 52 is 72. Thank you very much. My name is Matt Cooper. You guys have been amazing. We're going to open it up to a few questions if we have time. Yes, if anyone has any questions, please raise your hand. I'll be happy to elucidate a few things.
I missed your last part when you said trying to figure what people are expecting from you.
what's the next step once I figure out what they expect from me?
Okay, can you help me a little bit? So, you take the mic back. No, I'm sorry, she has the mic. Yeah, no, you got it. Yes, maybe rephrase the question because I'm not sure where.
When you were going over your how and why,
Yes.
up to the section of trying to figure what people are expecting from me while I'm noticing what their actions are. I wrote that down, and then I'm supposed to tell them is that when I go in and tell them what I can offer?
Okay, so I think maybe what we have a little bit of crossfire here. So I think what we're talking about here is you want to actually understand what they're thinking and feeling first. You're not trying to communicate what you're thinking and feeling quite yet. You need to understand what they're thinking and feeling so that you can build a rapport with that. So I'll give you an example of this. Let me set this down. This is a little bit outside the scope of sales, but it applies. A friend of mine recently, let me back up. So there is this idea known as pacing and leading. This comes from neurolinguistic programming. And the idea is that every interaction you have with someone is a dance, right? Whether you realize it or not, someone is leading and someone is following. So we want to be the leaders in these types of engagements. So the key to that is observing how this person is feeling so that you can build a rapport with them through mirroring. That's what pacing is. You're finding their pace. And then leading them towards a conclusion that you want. So this could be towards a sale by suggesting a sale. It could be an overt suggestion of a sale, or it could be a covert thing. But what's really fascinating about leading is that you can change someone's emotion through this process. So I'll give you a little story that happened to me recently. A friend of mine comes to me, he's going through a breakup. We go out for drinks to kind of talk about it. Now, our natural inclination is to cheer up our friend, right? That's the natural human inclination. You want to be nice to your friend. But to go in there and go, hey man, cheer up, let's get a drink. Forget about her, we'll have a good time. That's the worst possible thing you can do because this person who's your friend and you already have rapport established with has a pattern interrupt, and that is something abrupt happened in his life that I now have to reestablish rapport with. So I come in sad, and I am sad with him, right? I mirror his body language. I mirror the tone of his voice. I mirror the language that he's using. All of this stuff just for a few minutes, and then slowly I start to stand up a little bit straighter. And then he does the same thing because we're pattern-seeking animals. We match each other just like in the restaurant before. I notice he starts to stand up a little bit straighter, right? And then maybe I crack a little bit of a joke at some point. He starts to laugh. And within like 15 minutes, he's a totally different person, and he can think clearly and critically about the situation at hand. The point is, you can change the way that someone thinks and feels, but you have to take time to build that rapport, and that only happens through a mirroring process, where that is already happening naturally. You're just capitalizing on it, if that makes sense. Good? Okay, great. Anyone else? Yes, can we get a mic over here?
Thank you. So you obviously picked a bunch of random people. You had no idea. Do you find some people are easier or harder to read? And do you ever come across people who just by sheer will are impossible to read?
Great question. Answer is yes, and I'll explain. So the people who are easy to read are two types. One, people who are open and engaged, right? People who are like, this is really amazing, really fun. People who are leaning forward, who have open stances, that are looking, making eye contact, smiling. These are emotive people. They're very easy to read. They wear their emotions on their sleeve, right? The other person who's extremely easy to read is the hardcore skeptic. The person who thinks that they can't be cracked, right? Because they have a lot of emotion at stake. They think, if he reads me, that means I'm somehow weak. So I'm not going to let it happen. There ain't no way you're going to get inside this skull. And the truth is, it's emotion that I'm looking for. So if I see someone doing this, I don't pick them because they would be a curmudgeon on stage, but they're very easy to read. Very. If you say to someone who's like that, think of a number from 1 to 99, they're either going to think of 1 or 99 almost every time because they think they're being clever. Right? So it's those two people. The people who are impossible to read are the ones who are disinterested. Right? They're not engaged. They're on their phone, not paying attention, don't really care. You can't read them because there's nothing there to read. They're in some other world. Good? Okay.
Matt, I have a question to you.
Sure.
Since I arrived Sunday here in the States, I have just one question every day in my mind. Do you know what this could be?
Oh, I hate challenges like this. But if we talk afterward, I'll be happy to answer that for you, okay? We can get a group together afterward. We'll come over here and we'll try that.
Okay.
Sound good? I promise you, we'll do it.
Good.
Okay. Anyone else? Anybody? Yes? So the question was, is there a difference between men and women? Not really. They tend to think different things, and so there are population stereotypes that you can work from, but they're not guarantees. So a lot of what I do is kind of fishing. I start by saying certain things, and I'm looking for reactions from that person, right? It's not all just me sitting in a quiet room, and then I'm not a telepath. I'm not psychic. That's not how this works. But I'm constantly engaging in conversation that's nonverbal. That's how a lot of this stuff works. So women tend to speak differently than men think differently, and men tend to, but it's not a rule. There's a lot more that overlaps than makes them different. It's really the differences between people who are engaged in life and people who are disengaged. And most people tend to be engaged with this kind of thing because it's so strange, so that it's hard not to look at it.
How do you prepare yourself for those presentations? Like for those, what you are doing today. Do you prepare yourself? What's the process? Or if you can spill the beans.
Sure, absolutely. It was Edita, yes? I loved your speech. I agreed with a lot of what you had to say. So the question, how do I prepare myself? Well, that's a difficult thing when it comes to the actual mind reading stuff, because you can't, like a magic trick you can practice in a room, like in front of a mirror. But with this kind of thing, you have to use an audience. So the scripting bits that you can do on your own, like you do, right? But in terms of actually performing it, it's trial by fire. Like tonight, this was the first thing I did with the people in the room, thinking of things from random places. In that way, was the first time I tried it. So it wasn't seamless, but like you have to do it. There is preparation in conversation at bars with people, out and about in my normal day life. I'll sit at a cafe and I'll put out tarot cards. Now, I don't read tarot. I don't even know that much about tarot, but I put them out because I know they're magnets for people who are interested in that kind of thing. And they come sit down, and I try to do a reading based off of the psychological stuff that I know, and then that way I can practice that kind of reading. But it happens organically. It's not something that can just happen on stage one night and it's perfect. It takes time. Great. We'll do maybe two more, and then we'll close this out. Anybody else? Yes?
To be read.
Right, yeah. My parents. No. Actually, the funny joke in the family is that because we're in show business, my parents were very disappointed I decided to become a mentalist. They wanted me to become a mime. Yeah. My friends, it's difficult because when you're establishing relationships with people who see you at a show, they think that every single interaction you have, you're reading them. And that's just not the case. This is very much a turn on, turn off situation. You could never do this sort of thing all the time. It would be exhausting. It's a very active practice. So if you're going to try this out in the real world, you have to go in with intent. You have to realize that this is going to be something that is going to take a little bit of energy out of you. The most important thing, what I don't want people to walk away with is this idea that you always have to be reading and analyzing and suggesting and influencing. The most important thing is developing that relationship. And if that means just you being yourself, that's way more powerful than anything I can teach you. Because people want to work with people who they like. That's bar none. So I use this on stage. I just think there's a couple techniques that translate to what you guys do that you can maybe use in some areas of your life. Okay? We'll do one more. Yes?
Unsuccessful with reading somebody.
Am I ever wrong or unsuccessful in reading someone? Yes. It happens all the time. The problem, the way that I get around it is I have contingency plans for when things go wrong. In fact, I thought that I was going to get the number wrong today, the dollar bill. I had a second routine planned with Chris, was it? I had a second routine planned in case that, went sideways. But we didn't need to. We nailed it. So that was great. It's just about having a plan B and a plan C, finding out what's the worst possible outcome, and then working backwards. What can I do to mitigate that outcome? And how can I reverse the problem that arises? That's true in even like my business life, right? It's like starting a career as a mentalist was a crazy decision. So I thought, what's the worst that could happen? And then how could I mitigate that from happening? And if the worst does happen, how can I get back to where I was, right? Thank you all very much. You've all been wonderful. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with me. It's been a pleasure. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you.